Okay, so I wanted to do a quick video covering how to calculate the standard deviation of a one variable data set using Excel. So it's actually quite simple, but if you've never used Excel before, it can be a little bit tough. So for starters, we're going to put in our data. So it's just as simple as you can just click on a box and just type it in. Here I have 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, and if I want to delete them, 7, 9. So you can just type them in. So here's how Excel works. Is what we can do is we can actually put in formulas and it will add stuff for us. So one of the best ways of going about getting a sum or a total is to click equals. Then you type in the word sum. Then you put a bracket. This is important to put the bracket. Then you want to highlight what you want the sum of and close out the bracket. And voila. Something I sometimes like to do here is I like to put a bold on this entire row. And what this does is it lets us know that this isn't just a data point. This is actually a total. Okay, so now that's the first thing that we want to do when we want to calculate our mean. Because what we're going to do is we're now going to take that, and I'm just going to write down here, I'm going to call it X bar. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 data points. So we're just going to go equals. So we always start a formula off with equals. Our total, which is 56 divided by 7, which is 8. There's also another trick here. I'll show you guys alternatively. You can click in equals average, bracket, and then just highlight all those. And that will also give you the mean of 8. So there's a few little steps to Excel, but I'm going to go through it kind of in a little bit more steps. Okay, so what's the next thing we want to do here? So we want to go x minus x bar. So this gives us the individual deviations that each data point has from the mean. So we're going to go 12 equals this box here minus 8. Now there's a couple ways to go through this. What we can do is we can keep doing each one individually. Equals 10 minus 8. Or what you can do is after you've done one of them, you can actually just drag down and it'll automatically do the rest for you. And then I can drag this one over to the right, and then that gets me the total. This turns this into equals sum of C4 to C10. And if you want to make sure that that's the right box, you can just click up here and it tells you, okay, yeah, that's right. And if you're also not sure, we can kind of think of it this way. What's 8 minus 9? Oh, sorry, 9 minus 8, it's 1. What's 7 minus 8? It's negative 1. Okay, so that's right. Now what's the next step to find the standard deviation? We want to square all these data points right here. So, sorry, all these data points right here. So we're going to do x minus x bar squared. So here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to put equals. I'm going to take this box. I'm going to put a hat sign, squared. And then I'm going to bring that down. And then I'm going to say, I can say equals sum, and then add them all up like that. Oops. Sometimes it'll automatically fix it for you. Or I could have just, if I didn't want to do that, I could have just dragged it over. And we're done, because it just copies the pattern. It's always good to kind of just say, okay, does that make sense? Just to make sure that it actually did properly work out. Okay, so now what we, and that's just said minus. So now that we have this total here, what we can do next is we can now use that to calculate our standard deviation. So first we'll calculate the variance. If you can recall from the formula, variance, we're generally always dealing with samples in this course. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take this data point here, the x minus x bar squared, then we're going to divide it by n minus 1. As we counted earlier, n in this case is 7. So 7 minus 1, or you can just write 6 instead of brackets, 7 minus 1. It's better to just write 6 probably. And then that gives us 7. Now we want the standard deviation. So here's another trick. If you actually want to just expand that so it stays like that. So we just want to expand this here row. And then if we click, so I'm going to right click here. I'm not sure what that is on a Mac. I think you just hold it down. We can go format cells, and then we can click alignment, and then we just want to click wrap text, and then it will wrap it up for us. Now we have a taller cell where we can just write standard deviation all as one word, or you can put SD. Doesn't really matter. But what we're going to do here is we're just going to take that 7 and we're going to square root it. So that's the same thing as saying hat 0.5. And that gets us to 2.65. And one other trick in Excel is if you want to move this over, you can go over here and just click a couple to the right here. And then there you go. It rounds it automatically for you. So it's kind of a trick there. And voila, you're now done. You can put little borders and whatnot on it if you want to, but it's just basically that simple. All right, I hope that this makes some sense. If you have any questions about any of this stuff, feel free to ask me. I know everybody's gonna have a different version of Excel, but this should work basically on any version of Excel. It's just a quick little introductory video. All right, thanks.